My name is Edgar Garcia. I work as an operations manager in Round Rock, Texas. I am originally from Monterrey, Mexico. The transition of me moving from the United States, Mexico was very shocking. And that process of, me having to live with my mother, my stepdad, and my grandparents in a farm, and then moving to, the United States where the culture is so much more different, it literally did kind of shook my world a little bit. And also because theoretically I didn't know my father until I was 7. I always thought that my stepdad was my real dad until my brother and my sister somewhat kidnapped me and took me to my real dad and say, hey, this is your dad. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, who is this guy? Here I thought this one guy was my dad, and then next thing I know, it's like my brother and my sister. I was like, no, this is actually your dad. The other guy is just, your stepdad. So that was really interesting and shocking at the same time, because for the longest time, I was getting to know my real dad. I would only see him like twice a year. Through that transition of 7 to 10 and then having to move to the United States, you can say I only met him 6-7 times. Here I am moving to the United States with a random person that I don't necessarily know, because those, meetings did last a weekend, to say the least. I knew how to say water and money. Yeah, give me some water and give me some money. That's the only 2 words that I knew how to say in English. I'm actually a Rosetta Stone baby. I used Rosetta Stone religiously for about a year. They would just sit us down and here's Rosetta Stone. I was forced to play baseball by my parents, by my dad actually. I was a baseball fan. I just came back into the house and I was like, hey, get ready, here's your uniform, we're about to go practice. And I'm like, practice for what? And I was like, well, we signed you up for baseball, so you're now on a baseball team. I'm like, oh God, Jesus. When I moved to the United States, I actually gained 30 pounds in 1 month. So I was gaining a pound a day. The diet mostly consisted of McDonald's, Sonic, Dairy Queen, and Pizza Hut. Those were the restaurants that we had in the town. I guess because my family knew that I was not stable, make me happy by, giving me food. Where my family is natives, indigenous people, so we would eat from the land. Here when we moved to the United States, it's rare when someone has, some sort of garden outside growing their own, vegetables. Where that diet completely changed. Where in the United States everything is just so processed. Finishing high school, things didn't go well. As I was coming out to my family, my dad partially said, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I was disowned. That set me to go into depression. I was also going through hormonal therapy because my thyroid just messed up. When that happened, I think I gained about 100 pounds more. So I got to a point that I was 250 pounds. It was a moment that I was actually downtown Austin, and I was trying to, do the normal, tour guide, seeing things, and my shoe got untied, actually, and I could not reach my shoe to tie it. Just overall, that feeling that you have, it's like that you feel so vulnerable, so broken. Your entire aspect of me wanting to do something and not being able to do it because I have a gut, or I can't really stretch that far. I mean, that's overall what mostly hit me, that I'm like, why can't I do this? I mean, and you grow up to be told that nothing should stop you, or that you should just keep going forward with everything. So that's kind of my somewhat wake-up call, if you will. And put everything aside, my fears, my anger. I signed up at a gym that I thought that was not that far away from where I lived. Now able to walk a quarter mile and not sweat. Small things of that sort, actually are small victories that people should definitely not take for granted. Just to say that, okay, I did this, I thought I couldn't do it, and I went there and I pursued it. And you don't feel ass broken, or you feel like you're repairing yourself. There is a lot of retaliation within the gay community with weight. And actually, there are various studies that show that a lot of gay men actually do suffer from bulimia or anorexia because of that reason. I mean, it's pretty much doing self-harm in order for them to follow a stereotype that should be broken. It's definitely not healthy. It needs to be kind of over with. I was vegetarian while I was going through college for about 3 years. That helped me also kind of balance out my weight. Then for a while I did, become vegan. I came out when I was 14. Now, the realization of being gay, I want to say possibly, because I did not know what it was probably younger. There's a funny story actually. I think I was like 7 years old or 6 years old. There was a hall in our house, and I dressed up as a bride walking down, and next thing I remember, my sister just like takes it off and starts spanking me, and I'm like, well, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I was just being a kid, so it's would that be my realization that I was gay? I don't know. I was like, I don't think you necessarily realize that you're gay. You just realize when you come out. So I was one of the few gay kids in school, and there was a lot of bullying because of that. So that also didn't help, the aspect of, losing weight. If all it makes the opposite effect, the stress of having kids, making fun of the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you look. So it didn't necessarily help. But I did have a few ground friends that helped me a lot, and also teachers who helped me in that aspect of just kind of dealing with it. And it was leukemia, actually. It was an early process, mostly because I was actually going to go get a physical. And my doctor decided to take some blood tests, regular physical. I was like, hey, let's draw some blood tests. It was a process of about 6 months. It was very scary, but just, yeah. We did a lot of dialysis, take out the old blood, put some new blood in. And actually, we did do a few rounds of radiation on that one. So, right out of high school, I was, going through treatment. I came out to my dad. I was living with my sister. She had her own problems to deal with. The depression really, really hit. And that's also whenever, a lot of kids think, especially gay kids, thinks that suicide is the easy way to get out of things. That did very much cross my mind numerous times. Where we're seeing that a pattern that a lot of individuals are gay, and they just see it easier for them just to kill themselves than to actually accept it and be happy and be accepted by society. I had those same thoughts. I did. Gladly, I did not succeed. A different path actually consisted of me actually moving out of East Texas, being that there's nothing there. There's a lot of hate, a lot of racism still. I actually faced racism numerous times in East Texas. The basic aspect of actually trying to get my driver's license, and I couldn't do so because the lady thought that my citizenship was fake and she was trying to scratch off the picture. I said, I'm out of school, I'm out of high school. There's not much for me to do here. I need a way out, I need to get out. And I decided to move to Austin and then just revamp myself to the person that I somewhat am today. So it hurt, everything, walking, running, and I was weak. I had no upper body strength, nothing. So it was tough. It was this tough moment, but like I said, when I put all my fears aside, all my own judgment, things of that sort, and I'm like, you need to do this, mostly because you need to better yourself. You just need to do this. You're not always going to be perfect about it. We've all had that moment of, weakness, or we see, oh, I should not have this beer, but, I just want a glass of beer. You change your entire mind to accept your weaknesses, but at the same time also accept the consequences that come after that. Knowing I'm going to consume, drink a beer or two here. Well, tomorrow maybe I can do an extra, 30 minutes of cardio. It's always a balance of, understanding that it's okay to not be perfect, and then take day by day to say, okay, I'm having my breakfast in the morning, I'm having my lunch. My dinner might not be the best, but, I can make it up tomorrow by not having a bad lunch or bad breakfast or a bad dinner, but it happens. One of my proudest moments right now, actually, and overall, not necessarily physical, but mentally. People now see me and they really have just seen the social Edgar. I'm okay in just talking to anyone. I'm okay in just, sitting down, having a little chit chat here and there. Before I was not like that. Before I would just stay to myself, not even look at myself in the mirror. It's so nice to actually feel like possibly what a normal person should feel. I can say now, I'm not the best at, doing handstand push-ups or, some crazy task, but I can come in here and actually know what I am supposed to lift, know how to properly do the jobs that I'm supposed to do. Set all fear aside. Okay, that's what you need to do. You need to set all fear aside and understand that actually in a gym, you are entering, a different realm, but it's mostly bettering yourself and friendship. You have, once you come here, you become a regular, you actually make friends. You really don't think about that when you go work out. You actually meet great people. We're all here for the same reason. We may be at different levels, but we're, again, all here for the same reasons. That's what you should do. It's easier said than done, though. I think I'm good.